Welcome to the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. Brought to you by Blue Sky Business Consulting. We discuss 5 questions in about 15 minutes. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to our first episode of season number 6 of the Team Engagement Podcast. I'm very excited to welcome our guest today. This is a former guest who was on, a couple of years ago, I think, Damon, that you jumped on with us.
I believe so.
Damon Pistulka of the Exit Your Way company up in Seattle, Washington. And so, Damon, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to jump on and share some ideas on leadership. It's excited to have you come back on. This is a fun experience. I love having former guests come back and share their ideas on new questions that we're asking this season. So this is great. But before we get to the questions, Damon, tell us a little bit about Exit Your Way and what you folks are working on.
Yeah, well, Exit Your Way we started now. God, I can't believe it's been, this year it's almost 10 years. It's like 9 years ago, 10 years ago now. Well, we started it because I used to run companies for private equity groups, and we were buying and selling companies. We would buy them, build them, and combine them and sell them. And I really found that was one of the things that I enjoyed doing, was getting into the companies and helping them grow, and then the exit process. And really, I was more focused on the company part of it, and really, seizing new markets, do what you need to do, and then the transaction. So when I got together with my partner Andrew, he had worked with me in a couple of the companies that we were doing this with, and ultimately we decided, hey, let's go out and do a consulting company that does this, but for private owners. And we've been doing that now for about 9 years. We're a boutique firm. We're not doing it for a ton of people. We really like to get to know our clients for multi-years. I mean, we've got clients now that haven't exited yet. We've been working with them for 5 years, but they're growing the value and doing the things they want to do with their business to get them there. And it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think that this is a really important topic. So for all of you that are watching, if you own your own business, make sure you talk to someone who knows what they're doing to help you prepare for that exit, because it will not happen in the 2 months that you think it will. So
Yeah, no, I think the fastest I've seen it happen in the last 10 years is about, I think the fastest was like 180 days. And that's really fast, and that's a small company.
yeah.
But for a bigger company, if you're going to do something 10, 20, $30 million, you're in for a year or more.
Well, especially if you want to build that value in the
Oh
company.
yeah, then it's plus that. Yeah,
Right.
it's the time to do that. So yeah, but it, you make a good point. It doesn't happen by accident, and it is something that you need to prepare for.
Absolutely. Wonderful. All right. Well, let's get started with our questions. Question number 1, Damon, sometimes teams or companies will kind of fall into a little bit of a lull, maybe not be quite as energized as they could be. How can leaders infuse energy and enthusiasm into their teams?
Well, it's first of all, they've got to show the example, right? You come to work feeling like you're beat down, you're not going to be able to lead and show everyone else the example that you want to have. I mean, that really is, it starts from the leaders in the organization. If you want your teams to have energy, you need to have energy. And that starts with what I think a lot of professionals, myself included in the past, forget about is you got to take care of your health, you got to take care of your mindset, and you really need to have yourself outside of work happy, energized, take the time to refresh, so that when you come into work you can bring that same energy. Because let's be serious here, let's be real about it. To be a leader, it takes energy. I mean, to be a leader with energy that really has a lot of things going on, and really engages with people, it takes energy. So you have to be ready physically and mentally and emotionally to do that.
Oh, I like that. And it's not always easy to do that, but especially in this day and age, it seems to me that it's a lot harder for us to just separate what's happening outside the business from the business. There's a lot more overlap there. And like you said, if something is happening outside the business that you're going to end up pulling into the business, you got to figure out a way to not let that drag down, whether it's a personal issue, whatever it is. Not that we want to be ignorant of those things, but you're right. We've got to bring in that energy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be really tough for the team to be energized if you're not. So I love that.
Hmm.
Great. All right. Well, question number two, David, how do you promote learning in your company or in the companies that you've been working with? How is learning being promoted and encouraged?
Well, there's a couple ways. First of all, learning myself and with the people that we work with, our clients are typically they have to be learners. If we have stopped, and this is another just key point for leaders, if you stop learning, you might as well just start packing up because you're going to be out the door soon enough. And that includes technical, but also leadership learning and a lot of other things about yourself, learning about yourself so you can become a better leader. So we're doing things like bringing people in to help. It might be that we have a seminar for the leaders that come in and someone talking to them, or we've got coaches that are working with certain leaders, or we have things as simple as book clubs. Everybody, if they're not using books to continue their learning almost every day, they're missing out because all the knowledge that we need has been written down someplace. It's just a matter of us reading it, digesting it, and then applying it. And so we start with the simple, and it is a lot of times just a simple, hey, here's a book that we should read as a leadership team and start to discuss it. That's a great way to start. And then more more specialized and focused beyond that.
I really like that. A book club, that's such a great idea because I think it also helps foster and nurture some team bonding there. If
Yes.
you're doing that together, then you're learning together. So I really like that. And you're learning as a team. That's a great idea. Love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Question number three, share one tip for effective delegation.
Oh, there's one question you need to ask as a leader is delegation. It starts with, you know, we all are pretty good at letting people know, hey, I need you to do this for me as part of your job going forward. But the minute something happens and an interruption occurs with that person and they have trouble in that doing what they're doing, that's when the delegation usually falls back. Oh, I got a problem. Oh, don't worry, I'll just take care of it for you. You got to stop yourself. You want to ask one question. What do you think? What do you think we should do? And just keep asking them questions until they figure out the solution and say, that's great. Go ahead and do it. And it'll change your world because our natural response is to, oh, that's kind of hard. I'll take it over and then you'll be able to take it from there. But the best thing is to let them think through the process by you asking them questions and let them go solve it.
That's an awesome tip. And I could not agree more because it is really tempting to do exactly what you just said. And that's jump in and just do it for them because we can usually do it faster, quicker, with more accuracy. But you rob them of the opportunity to learn something and to gain that confidence that they can take care of things on their own if they think through it a little bit. But I love that you just asked, well, what ought we to do on this? So that's awesome. Great tip. All right. Question number four. How do you communicate your purpose and vision to your team?
Well, I think it starts with you really understanding it. Because just be honest, I think most business people you talk to and a lot of most owners don't really think about it that much. They've got into business because, hey, I'm a good plumber, or I'm a machinist, and I know how to do this, or I'm a programmer and I've developed a SaaS product that's going to save the world, or whatever the heck it's going to do. But they don't really understand, what is our purpose, what are our values, and what are our vision for the company, because they need to stop and do that and then once you understand that and it feels right in your heart, then you have to start telling people in your organization. And once your organization really gets used to that and you've told it enough, then you have to move that into your hiring process because you really need people at that point before they come into your company. And this is I was just discussing with leaders in a company last week. It's like, listen, we no longer hire people that do not fully 100% embrace our values and our mission and our purpose. If we do not do that, we are going to continue to have trouble with or continue to have people that are misaligned with us. I didn't say trouble, but we'll continue to have people that don't want to get in the boat and row the right direction with us.
That's a really important point. I'm glad you brought that up because that's exactly what it's why I'm asking the question is because sometimes leaders they go to some effort to define values and mission and vision statements and all those things. And that's really good and very important. But then they forget to tell their team about it. And they forget to,
Hmm.
and I loved your suggestion, by the way, Damon, to make sure that you include some of that discussion in the hiring process,
Yep.
because that is a really critical part to make sure that you review that with them and say, hey, are you on board with this? Can you get on board with this? Because if it's for whatever reason you can't, this may not be the best fit. Because that's one of the hardest things is to help the team members understand this is our vision, this is the direction we're going to go, and it makes a big difference when you can communicate that effectively. So
Hmm.
love that. All right, final question. This is the fun one. Share with us a little bit of a baseball story or a memory that you have.
Oh, um, probably one of the, I mean, I was so fortunate at baseball. I mean, I really have been. I started playing when I was a little kid. I played with my brothers. I got three brothers. We all played. I coached them for a while, even as I got older, because I'm a little bit older. Um, but I think, one of them is the first professional baseball game I ever went to was the Kansas City Royals with my whole family. That was quite an experience coming from, growing up on a farm in South Dakota and being able to go to a baseball game. That was pretty incredible. But I will say recently, and like I said, I was able to coach for over a decade and all different levels, all the way up through when my son went to college. And I was able to actually hold a Cy Young award, and I got my picture with a Cy Young winner here because my son used to practice with him in the wintertime when he was a younger guy, and
Nice.
Blake Snell, and when he won his first Cy Young, I got to hold it. I was like, man, that was just, and I got pictures with this big super grid because I held a Cy Young. That's just not many people get to even touch him, and
That's
I thought, well,
awesome.
that's pretty darn cool.
Oh yeah, I love that story.
Yeah.
That's a new one for me here from all the people I've talked to with baseball memories. Is I actually got to hold a Cy Young award. That is
Yeah.
awesome. I love.
Yeah, yeah, it was. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. That's a fun story. And
Yeah.
thanks so much for being on the podcast as well, David. Tell us a little bit. How can people get a hold of you?
They can, Damon Pistulka on LinkedIn. You can find me there. You can find us on our website, exityourway.com.us.ca, whatever you want to put in the computer and find us there. There's plenty of ways you can book a meeting with me and talk or just check out what we do.
Fantastic. Thanks so much again, Damon. Really appreciate your time today. And thanks to everybody for joining us again for season 6. We look forward to hearing from more leaders as we continue through the year about these important questions. So thanks so much for joining us and have a great day.
This is Sean Richards with the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. For more ideas, go to teamengagementpodcast.com. We also invite you to follow or subscribe to our podcast wherever you may be listening or watching. Is your business thriving? Go to tbs-score.com to find out. Thanks for joining us today. Have a great day.